Hey Squishies! Welcome back to another vlog. This is Thundercats 2011 series, episodes 1 and 2. So these were significantly better than the 2 episodes of the original series I watched. They still weren't great, but at least there was some meat there. The characters are all pretty familiar, shallow characters, pretty much like they were in the older series. It looks like Lion-O is a little bit complex isn't even really the right word. He's got the makings of an arc here. They also apparently killed off Panthro, which is an interesting choice, considering that he was the black-coded character in the old series, and now they don't have one at all. Don't know how to feel about that. Also, the 2 children are... It's interesting that they're not exactly in the series yet, in the sense that they're kind of on the fringes. They're not really interacting with the rest of the characters. It's not entirely clear what they're there for. And Snarf is apparently just a cat that doesn't talk, which, awesome, because he was obnoxious. He was exactly as obnoxious as his reputation, like it is actually deserved. Other than that, Chitara's pretty cool. This whole concept of clerics with, like, super speed is interesting. Pretty predictable how it played out, except for Panthro. The only real surprise was what we thought was Panthro betraying the king and stabbing him and then turning out to be Mum-Ra. I was waiting for Mum-Ra to show up the whole episode. I thought he was probably what was contained inside the big crystal-y thing, but apparently not. It's got the whole, like, magic versus technology thing that I'm never a huge fan of. In part because it always feels weird to me that something as dependent on technology as a TV show would be vilifying technology. And also because it tends to play into, and this shows up as well with the way the lizards are depicted as this, like, oppressed underclass that rises up, and therefore are evil. There's always this kind of thing, like, magic belongs to the elite few and is therefore good. Technology is more democratic and is therefore bad. I say more democratic in the sense that magic only works for people with the right gift or power or incredibly advanced training, etc. You never see a setting where magic is super commonplace, everyday stuff. You get a little of that within wizarding culture in Harry Potter, but even there, wizards are a elite subset of humanity. Whereas technology, if you have the technology, you pretty much can use it. I mean, obviously some things are complicated and require more skill than others, but it will work for you. It's not like, if you don't have the gift, a computer won't work, or a rifle won't work, or whatever, power drill won't work unless you have the gift of technology. And then, it's more democratic than that. Of course, that if is doing a lot of work if you have it, because, making sure that it can't get that democratic is kind of why capitalism is a thing. To keep that if a very powerful if. But that again attaches right to the lizards being like this oppressed underclass that's rising up. It's like, oh, they've got this power that anyone can use. How, they're this, interchangeable horde instead of our elite, unique, magical few. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of stuff that does that. Very rarely is magic versus technology done interestingly. I can't really think of a good example off the top of my head. I mean, there are some. It is the main place where it's used interestingly I can think of is Final Fantasy VI, where technology is the established thing that's available throughout the world and that people use, and magic is this new disruptive element. Other than that, it almost always vilifies technology in ways that are, uncomfortable on multiple levels. What else? Mumra is immediately much more powerful out of the gate than he came across as in the show. In the old show. In the old show, it was this weird combination of he could wipe out that entire fleet in like a finger snap, but he still needed like minions to do his dirty work, and he was still kind of easily overcome. Here, he's this much more immediately powerful force, and takes quite a bit just to get away from. And he still sort of wins. You've also got the General Grun, something like that. I think it was Grun, who betrays the king. That was pretty well telegraphed, but it's still, a nice touch to have one of the cats on the quote-unquote villain team. Yeah. There was one other thing. I'm having trouble thinking of what it was. There was something associated with Grun and with Mumron. Yeah, I've kind of lost it. The sword also comes across immediately. Like, it's immediately obvious what's so powerful about it. Where again, in the first 2 episodes of the old show, it had some power, but it wasn't earth-shattering, It wasn't game-changing the way it is here. Which both is and isn't a good thing. It's a good thing in the sense of you understand why it's such a big deal. On the other hand, it is kind of game-breaking, It is like, well, it raises questions like, why didn't the king use it, the battle outside the walls, as effectively, Love the sport with the big, twisty, fine things and the bell at the top. That feels like a cat sport. If cats had sports, that fits. Oh, and one interesting thing is the implication appears to be that Tigra is the older brother, but not the heir, because he doesn't have the bloodline, which sounds like he's illegitimate or possibly adopted, which is an interesting thing for the show to do. And the pattern of resentment between him and Lion-O is well done. So, yeah, it's decent. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not bad. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Patreon for early access to game Let's Plays, essays, vlogs, and more. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!